broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
We'll go at 1, yeah?
Okay.
We'll go on 1.
8, 7, 6.
Okay, let's see.
4, 3, 2, 1.
You're on camera.
Good evening, listeners. It's Ewuraa Lucy once again on the Starr Personality Profile Show. Good evening to you all. I hope we had a lovely, lovely Tuesday and you are relaxed. And I know it's cold, guys, but I hope you've got your heaters, your hot chocolates, ready to listen to the interview that I have today. In my midst, I have an author, a public speaker, and he is also an achievement coach who focuses on business and personal development. He has also had a lot of experience in the NHS, 7 years plus, and he also studied medical biochemistry at Leicester University. Guys, when I say this guy is what we all need to be aspiring to be, I would say, even from the way he's dressed in the studio, listeners, honestly, he's about his business. So if you are business minded, want to know more about his journey, want to know more about business, make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you do not turn your dial anywhere, and we'll be back shortly. You're listening to Starr Radio with Lucy, Ewuraa Lucy. We'll be back shortly.
The Prasad's Automotive provides affordable, high-quality after-sales service to Bentley and crew-built Rolls-Royce cars, charging only 60% of main dealer labour rates. We offer health checks, servicing, diagnostics, air conditioning servicing, four-wheel alignment, pre-purchase inspections, brake repairs, engine removal repairs, and dent repairs. We're a team of highly skilled engineers. David Prasad was employed at Jack Barclay for over 27 years. At the Prasad's Automotive, we have the knowledge, experience and facilities that equip us to deliver excellence and quality to our clients at a personal level.
Are you looking for a job as a general nurse, theatre nurse, ODPS, community nurse, healthcare assistant, mental health nurses, midwives, sterile services, domiciliary services? Then look no further. Bright Stars Plus Healthcare Agency have vacancies with good pay rates at London, Hertfordshire, Bedfordshire, Cambridge, South England, West Midlands, Sussex and North of England. To apply, visit www.brightstarplus.com or you can call us on 073 890 64632. The number again, 073 890 64632, or email info@brightstarplus.com. Brightstar Plus, the best in recruitment agency.
Hello listeners, my name is Ewuraa Lucy. I invite you to join me on the Starr Personality Profile Show this and every Tuesday at 6 p.m. on Starr Radio UK, where I will be talking to experts who have different fields to find out why they do what they do and what makes them exceptional in their various careers. This show is Starr Personality Profile on Starr Radio UK. Remember, the time is 6 p.m. every Tuesday. Download the app from your app store or join me live on all our social media platforms.
Good evening, listeners, and once again, welcome to the Starr Personality Profile Show with myself, Ewuraa Lucy. If you are joining us, welcome, and if you were with us before, welcome again. As I mentioned before, I have a gentleman who is an author, public speaker, and also has a lot of experience in the NHS. His credentials are, they're quite high, So I am in the studio today with the one and the only Michael Tabirade. Did I say that name right?
Tabirade. It's okay, it's all good.
Okay, Tabirade. Welcome to the studio, Michael.
Thank
How are
you?
you?
Much for the invite. Yeah, I'm feeling good. It's cold, but you know what? I'm alive, so it's all good.
Fantastic. So you're all these things in one: public speaker, author. Tell me, who is Michael? Who are you?
So, Michael Ajay Tabirade is a 26-year-old male born on the 17th of February 91. Currently, right now, working within the NHS as a commissioning and contracts manager, so working on a few different contracts. But outside of that, I've really had a passion in really sort of invoking invigoration and motivation and sort of practical steps for success to different people. So yeah, I'm just crazy about making sure that I help people get to the next step in their life.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Okay. So take us back to growing up, where your parents are from, where do you live? Obviously not your postcode or your door number.
Bit too personal.
But, okay, no, we're not going to get that personal. But I just want to know, growing up, were you born in this country? Tell us a bit more about yourself, your background.
Okay, so I was born in this country, born in London. Parents are both from Ghana.
Okay.
So my dad is a Kwapim
Okay.
and my mom is Fanti. Lived in southwest London for a very long time, pretty much all my life.
Okay.
Growing up, was in a single family home, probably from the age of 7 onwards.
Okay.
But no sort of like hard sort of things done sort of thing. I have a very good relationship with, you know, my father and everything else. So grew up, went to school in the same area, Roehampton. Went to secondary school. Interestingly enough, you know, I've always faced sort of like rejection from academia.
Okay.
Whether it was, you know, school, secondary school, university, but there's always been a way to sort of overcome those different barriers.
Okay.
And then went to Leicester University to study medical biochemistry, because originally I wanted to do medicine.
Okay.
Not the stereotypical, you know, mother or father saying, hey, you should be a doctor sort of thing. But really because I thought it really clarified 4 things that I wanted.
Okay.
First thing being, you know, this sense of prestige. Second thing being, you know, I thought it pays well. Third thing being, you know, I wanted to work with different people. I had this sort of like need to work with people. And the fourth thing was sort of my love for science, or at least logical thinking. But then obviously after university, applying for something known as the GAMSAT, 6-hour exam.
Wow.
Did it about 4 or 5 times.
Wow.
I got to a point in my life where I was like, do you know what? I need to make a real decision, and I need to be honest with myself. Because if I really want to live this life of abundance, so to speak, I need to live sort of aligned to my values. So I decided not to do medicine anymore, and my experience within the NHS had sort of like backed that sort of decision.
Okay.
And I went down more the corporate sort of business route.
Okay.
And that's where I started to do more of my life.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Right. So you left the biochemistry, not want to be a doctor. So you enter into the corporate world. What exactly were you doing in the corporate world?
So when I say corporate, this is more sort of NHS England.
Okay.
So I started off. In fact, I think it was after university, or even during university, I was just doing sort of basic administration.
Right.
Because the idea originally was that I could sort of coalesce the sort of managerial side with the clinical side, because I realised communication-wise, that gap was missing. But then obviously when I made my decision, I thought I might as well just focus on the managerial side.
Okay.
So 2 years after university, I applied for a project management post.
Okay.
I was successful. Surprisingly, because it was a huge jump for me. Spent a year doing that.
Okay.
And then had a shoulder injury, was out for a bit. And then I applied to do a finance role, or should I say payments role, within NHS England. Got a promotion to be a commissioning officer. Then did contracts management for a bit. And then went on to be a senior commissioning officer within NHS England. Not many people know what commissioning is.
Do you want to tell us a bit more about it?
So commissioning is basically, from a healthcare point of view, making a decision as to sort of the health needs that population needs.
Okay.
And so what we do, we offer these services to different healthcare providers, whether they're hospitals or GPs. We say, if you feel willing to sort of provide this service, you know, we can give you this money. So it's almost like interview sort of thing.
Okay. Okay.
Once, you know, you get somebody who's successful, we draw up the contract, and then we performance manage them, making sure they fit in with those sort of healthcare needs.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's commissioning.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so how long have you been doing that for?
So I've been doing that for around 2.5 years. 2.5 years.
And
so.
Why do you enjoy the job that you do?
Okay, so I would say, one, I like the team. Team are cool. If you're listening, probably not. I like the team.
Okay.
Second thing is because it really fits the way I think in terms of my logical thinking.
Okay.
And thirdly, it's an opportunity to really improve the services, both internally and externally. And I guess with this job, it's really taught me about how businesses run.
Okay.
You know, sometimes you don't really get the opportunity to understand finance, contracts, basic, intricate communications as well. So that's why I enjoy the job.
Okay, all right. Okay, so you've managed to go like academically.
Of
You've
course.
always been, you know, that guy that everyone's looking at, like, you know every single answer. You're that type of guy.
Do you know what? My sister would say that. She's
Were
nodding
you that
right
type
now.
of guy in school?
Apparently so, yeah. I've always got an answer sort of thing.
Right.
How did you know?
Right. So has your decision to go into like the NHS, was that influenced by something, or your parents? Did they have any background in that at all?
Not at all.
Okay.
I think because I decided I wanted to do medicine, it made sense to go into the NHS. So it was I think it was my father who first suggested it.
Okay.
And straight away I was like, no, I'm not going to do that, because I wanted to be an architect before.
Right.
I was like, I'm not going to do that. But then, really thinking about all of the other options that I had, I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Okay.
So then I was like, okay, let me try medicine, because it fits my criteria.
Right.
So that's how I led into the NHS.
Okay. So what's your criteria?
So again, those 4 factors again.
Okay.
So the people, money, science, and prestige.
Okay.
I realised that I could make more money elsewhere.
Right.
Practically doing that, you know, compared to junior doctors. No offence to anyone who's doing foundation year 1 or 2. In terms of science, I was questioning whether it was actually science or whether it was a way of thinking.
Okay.
In terms of people, you can do that with so many different jobs. And in terms of prestige, well, I can do that with some of the stuff that I'm doing and developing myself as a brand.
Nice. Sounds good. Okay, so you've gone through the process of identifying exactly what you want to do.
Of course.
So where does the business element, the motivational speaking public speaking is already coming to it?
Of course. So it's funny you say that, because I think it was back in 2011
Okay.
or 2010 actually.
Okay.
I was very ignorant when it comes to reading.
Right.
Very ignorant.
Even though you wanted to go into medicine?
Yeah, I would say so.
Right.
She's like, how does that work?
I mean,
Very ignorant. You know, I almost felt like there was no point reading, but I think it was laziness.
okay.
And I know I was encouraged by watching different things on YouTube. I remember I used to watch Will Smith's Words of Wisdom like daily. I remember having a conversation with one of my line managers,
Okay.
and it pushed me to read the book The Alchemist. So once I read that book, I realized there was so much more to life than what I was experiencing.
Okay.
So with the reading and through the experience of understanding how the NHS works, especially with the different types of people, I was like, there's something here about human motivation that is lacking. You know, there's something, you know, that I think that I can sort of pursue or give towards people to really give them that extra boost, but not just in a sort of like a boost, but give them practical sort of advice as well. So that's where the business and motivation came in. I tried to do, you know, set up different businesses.
Right.
You know, I went into property,
Okay.
property investment. I actually paid my way into a big property investing sort of like organization.
Yeah.
I looked into trading. I even did the whole network marketing thing for a year.
Okay.
Those things didn't work out.
Okay.
So then I realized I needed to do something again that aligns with my values. And that's where I thought, actually, there's lots of people like this who get confused, who get misled, and who need some guidance. And I felt like I had gone down this journey where I had received certain answers that certain people may not have. So that's where I thought, let me sort of pursue this journey of business and personal development.
Okay. And when did that begin, the whole journey of doing your public speaking and development stuff?
I would say I've done more public speaking this year.
Okay.
I would say the coaching started last year. But I would say the whole journey really began probably, if I'm thinking about it, 2013, 2014.
Okay.
And that's where I started to experiment with different things. Things were failing. But I didn't give up. I tried different things to see if they worked. So that's where it led me on to here.
Okay. So you mentioned, you know, you tried different things, it failed. What kept you going?
What kept me going? I guess it's interesting because for me, it was being in a situation I was. Like, I wouldn't say I'm in a terrible situation.
Right.
But I wanted more.
Okay.
I want more. And I think it's okay to want more. And I think being in that situation has allowed me to realize that actually the only way I can get more is if I experiment.
Okay.
So I saw things as experiments as opposed to this is how life is and this is how it's always going to be. You know, so with those experimentations and learning these different things and seeing that other people could do it as well, I was like, why not me? Why not me?
Wow.
So
Okay.
continue.
Hold it right there. We are gonna go on a short break. And as we go on that break, you've really like inspired me, even though I'm interviewing you, like just from speaking to you and knowing that you've been through so many things in such a short space of time, and you've managed to get to this point. That in itself is an achievement, and I know that you've written a book, but we'll get into all that stuff later. You've written a book and all that stuff, but I'm just gonna play one of your favorite songs. It is Chris Brown, and it's called "Picture Me Rolling." Okay, so we're just gonna go.
Saturday, 3 p.m. on Star Radio UK.
Which Chris Brown? They'll block the video. Don't at all.
It's alright.
Don't at all, please.
I forgot.
Don't worry.
They'll block the video.
I forgot. When we can't play.
Hello listeners,
Okay.
my name
We
is
can
play
Ewuraa.
any
I invite
Afrobeats
you to
tune.
join me on the
Yeah.
Star
We'll
Personality
block the
Profiles
video.
I forgot.
this
Okay.
and every Tuesday at 6 p.m.
No
on
Chris
Star
Brown, though,
Radio
y'all.
UK.
Sorry.
No Chris Brown.
To find out why they do what they do.
Is it because we don't have the right to play the song?
You can't play it. Don't play it.
Yeah,
Facebook
you
will
have
block
to
it.
have. Yeah, they'll block it.
Facebook,
Yeah, they'll block it.
Instagram, and all those. They'll shut it out straight.
I see you, Jenny. I see you.
Should we play Wizkid? That would get
No.
blocked.
Whiskey, yeah, you can.
Wizkid, yeah. Let me know.
You have camera, you have
Oh,
camera.
none.
Let's come after the next break. You play the song.
Okay, cool.
Johnny the Kid. See you too, man. Thank you for the support.
Can I completely forgot?
I put it on my WhatsApp. No, I put it on my WhatsApp. No, that's like get slaying.
Boo boo, Chima.
They do my boogie black one.
Instagram.
Valley View University on the Adenta to Dogowa Highway, Accra, Ghana. RBE is a gated community with 24 hours security.
Oh yeah, do you have the website? Oh yeah, you've got the website.
Yeah.
You got the website, right?
I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
But I'll
I'll
try
let you
and
know when we're gonna look through the
see.
website.
Get into the end. Yeah.
Mortgages and
We'll look through the
I'll see.
payment
website.
options
Yeah.
available to qualified applicants. Rush now and own a house in Ghana. For more information, contact Pastor Joe Kissinger Anochi on 0790 479 3019. You can also
Oh, thank
contact
you.
No, you have. You've
So
done
by the
well.
grace of God, y'all.
Of course, always.
So by the grace of God.
You've done well,
I'm
like.
trying.
And it's good that you're starting now.
Yeah. I'm trying.
Just keep on going and going
Do
and
you do
going.
this on like a regular?
Yeah, every Tuesday.
Done so well, Lucy.
Oh,
Honestly,
thank
no,
you.
seriously.
It's good. It's a good look.
Lucy, you're on camera.
We're playing the song.
No, after the next break, we can play the song.
Oh.
6,
Can I watch it?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, listeners. It is Ewuraa Lucy back again on the Star Radio Personality, and I have with me in the studio Michael, who has been giving us a bit of insight as to his journey leading up to being a public speaker, and also his decision to go into the NHS and his, what was it, the 5 or 4?
4 criteria.
4 criteria. That was it. 4 criteria. Okay, so I'm going to go back into your public speaking. Take me through the process of setting it up and what you do and things like that. Let us know a bit more.
You know, it's funny because I get this question a lot, and it doesn't really satisfy the person who's asking.
Okay.
But really, what I've done is I've used a sort of method known as attraction marketing.
Okay.
So a lot of what I do is out there on the internet through blogs, obviously on my social media,
Yeah.
the book as well.
Yep.
So that has really got me opportunities. I've never actively gone out to say,
Oh,
I want to
okay.
do public speaking.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't really have a formula in that sense, but
Right.
people have come into me. So this is a perfect example, actually.
Right.
You know, of coming to a great opportunity. You know, marketing myself. But I haven't actively gone out to do that. So that's been sort of like the thing that I've been using. I've been using a bit more.
Okay.
So yeah, sorry to disappoint you in that sense.
Yeah, you've,
Ooh.
I don't know if I've received the answer that I'm looking for.
But I guess in my mind,
Right.
I know I will grab opportunities by how I'm perceived.
Okay.
And it's very important for me to make sure that I keep up the right sort of branding.
Okay.
That's through what I write, what I say, how things look from what I present online as well.
Okay.
And offline.
So you just have a platform on the internet where people can go and look, because I know I've been through your website. People can look at different blogs that you've written. Is that what you would say it is?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so that's how you motivate and you speak through people. Speak to people, sorry.
Yes.
Okay, so what was the reason behind that though? Why
did I start the online? Okay,
Yeah,
so I think it was back in when was it? 2011.
Okay.
I was with my friend Michael back at Leicester.
Okay.
And I was like to him, do you know, I just want to write something. Like, I want to write something, put it online. And he was like, just do it. And I was scared to do it. I eventually did it. I put it on Tumblr.
Okay.
Was hoping all these people would find it, and no one found it.
Then one.
Like,
wait for one.
Exactly. So I started doing that by myself, whether people were watching it or not.
Yeah.
And then it was probably 2014 where I thought, I want to turn this Tumblr into sort of like a WordPress platform. And I started looking into things called search engine optimization and different ways to really get noticed online, just by making sure you have the right sort of words in your text. And from that's where I started to get more sort of like opportunities and get noticed and all that kind of stuff there. So that was the original reason why I started. I just wanted to write. You know, there's something in me wanting to write.
Okay. And you mentioned, obviously, you had to do a bit of research. In all things, I think it's important to do your research, especially. So how long did it take for you to really take time out to research how to get yourself noticed, as you mentioned? How long did that process take?
Interesting. So I think when I first started it off, I didn't actually do any research. I just started writing. But then I think my best teacher has been failure, but I haven't called it failure. I've called it experimenting. So I think over about 2 or 3 years from 2011, I learned this whole thing of SEO, content marketing, attraction marketing, even sort of like pay-per-click, all of those different things, and realized actually there is something in this. And if I start now, later on, I will get noticed some way, some shape or form. So probably over 2 or 3 years, it took me to really master that. I was probably in apprenticeship mode, if you want to call it that.
Okay. Interesting. So you were doing this all at the same time as working full time?
Yes.
Wow. How were you able to juggle all that?
When people ask me this question, I'm not sure what to say. I think I don't see it as juggling. You know, if you're sort of like developing sort of blogs or articles or whatever it is, it's just making sure you sort of structure your time effectively. And even if you don't do that, it's understanding your priorities. You know, you can ask my sister, you can ask Stephanie, you can ask my friends. They say I need to relax sometimes.
Why is that? Why?
They say I work too hard. Of course, I'm biased. I don't see that. I just see it as me doing what I need to do or want to do. But that's, I guess, how I manage or balance my time. But I don't feel like I sort of suffer socially or anything like that. I still go out and all that kind of stuff there. You know, if you see my Instagram,
you're active.
No, definitely.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so we're going to go into. You mentioned that you found alternative ways to make money, right? So what things have you done to make money?
Okay, so the first time I ever made money outside of my job was actually through network marketing. I wasn't comfortable doing it, but it proved to me that I could actually make money. So then I started dabbling into affiliate marketing, which is basically where you sort of promote other people's products. But obviously you need to understand those products, you need to believe in those products, and sort of dabbling with those different things there, I've been able to sort of like get a steady stream of income. It hasn't always been huge. I'm still dabbling with sort of other projects as well. But that's been one great way. Another way has been through my coaching. So, you know, there have been some people who have needed sort of help building a brand or building a website or need some sort of life coaching advice. So that's been another way I've been sort of building my money. Also the book as well. But this has been a way to market myself as opposed to making money, if that makes sense. So there are things in the pipeline. But those have been the main ways.
And do you see it in the long term? Sorry, you see this as being something you do full time, or
100%?
Okay, in what space of time have you given yourself? What's the time frame you've given yourself?
Do you know what? I used to believe in deadlines. But I feel so certain this will happen. I haven't given myself a deadline. I give myself goals, don't get me wrong. But for the purposes of this, we'll say, you know, probably within the next 2-3 years.
Okay. Right. Okay. So, who would you say who's your inspiration? Who inspires you?
Who inspires me? I think a lot of people inspire me. I know this sounds cliche, but my mother inspires me heavily.
Okay.
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
She has come from nothing. And she's really gone against the odds. I know everyone has mothers and fathers who have come from abroad and they've come here. But, you know, she's come from a situation where I think she's shocked a lot of people. And actually, in terms of her profession, she's actually a childminder.
Okay.
But that's entrepreneurship in itself, if you want to see it like that.
Yeah, definitely.
And once I realised that, I was like, wow, she's done well. Even looking at sort of like how she set us up financially and everything else, she's done extremely well. So she's one person who inspires me. Second person, I would say, I'm a huge Will Smith fan. Huge Will Smith fan. I think he's the reason why I started reading the way I read. So Will Smith is another person I really respect and admire. I'd love to meet him one day. Wow. You know, I'd like to think he was watching, but he's not. Do you know what I mean?
One
guy
day.
can dream. One day he'll be watching me. Do you know what I mean?
One day.
And I guess, you know, other people like Michael Jordan, Les Brown, these people really, really do inspire me. There are other people as well, but they have been pivotal in my pursuit towards achievement and success, and just telling myself that I can do it. Yeah. You know?
Okay. I understand that. And also, you've written a book, which is called Understand, Reach, Expand.
Yep.
15 super effective ways to manage your mind.
Yep.
Why did you write the book?
Why did I write the book? So, it was... When was this? It was in 2014. When I started doing project management in St. George's.
Okay.
And I was like, I want to write a book. And I used to talk about it with my colleagues and all these different things there. I started writing the book, and I stopped.
Okay.
I stopped because I was like, this is long. I couldn't be bothered. So it got to 2015. Had a conversation with my sister and Stephanie and other people, and they were like, you're doing way too much, you need to focus. And they always hear me saying, follow one course until successful. I was like, I need to live by that word, sort of thing. So I went to a free book writing course that one of my acquaintances I met through property sort of invited me to.
Nice.
I was like, I can do this myself, you know, and I wanted to prove that I could write it myself.
Right.
So the reason I wanted to write it is because, again, it was that thing inside me that just wanted to share my knowledge and ideas. Not to say I'm this supreme person, but I do believe that, you know, if you're genuine about what you're writing, there are other people who will get connected and touched by that very thing as well. So I set out to write. It took me 11 months. Wow. But I realised I wrote way too much.
Right.
So those 11 months actually turned into 10 books.
Wow.
So this is effectively chapter 1, if you want to call it that. So I have other books that are in the pipeline. I just need to edit them X, Y, and Z.
That's amazing.
So,
and how has your book done so far?
It's done okay. I'm not going to say it's done amazing. It's done okay.
Okay.
First week, you know, huge spike in sales. That's how it works.
Yeah.
And then it slowed down afterwards.
Okay.
But what I will say is, this has been a very great way of sort of like getting me opportunities as well. If anybody's in the sort of personal branding space or trying to do different things, I'll definitely sort of write a book.
Okay.
Because it's fantastic for that.
Okay.
Fantastic.
And you mentioned that you wrote too much. So this is number 1.
This is book number 1.
Out of 11 or 10?
Well, so there's 9 more left.
Okay.
There is another one, but there's 9 more left.
Oh, okay. So when's the other one coming out?
So I'm hoping to release the second one on the 1st of January.
Okay. And that will be continuing from this book?
From this one.
Okay. Yeah. And what will that be? That will be the same title?
Same sort of line of thinking, but the focus is on desire. Okay. So really understanding what desire is. How do you actually activate desire within you?
Okay.
And sort of like giving you exercises to help you along the journey.
Okay. So take us through your book just a little bit as to what people can expect when they buy a book.
So this book is for people who are lacking motivation and they have certain barriers and fears behind them that they need to unlock.
Okay.
So it allows you to understand what fear is and how you overcome it using different exercises to allow you to be confident.
Okay.
So the reason I did that is because everyone talks about how they want more confidence. So hopefully this book addresses it. I'd like to say, and people have told me already, they've got really good feedback from it. They've really understood the principles. It's really helped them, so to speak.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really about overcoming fear and imbuing sort of confidence into their life.
Okay. And is that something that you've encountered yourself?
100%. 100%. You know, I thought to myself, if I'm writing this book, I need to make sure that I embody the actions or the exercises that I'm teaching others as well. So yeah.
Okay. And what would you say has been your biggest struggle from identifying what you were going to do, now getting into the NHS, now you're, you know, motivating people, helping them. What would you say has been your biggest struggle during that period of time?
I think it's just being honest with myself.
Okay.
You know, being completely honest with myself. When I decided I didn't want to do medicine anymore, you know, everybody knew me as the doctor in the community. You know, oh, doctor, this, that, blah, blah, blah. But I had to say, actually, I'm not doctor.
Right.
Michael Ajay Tabirade, who wants to pursue this, something completely different. So that was step number one. I think step number two is, it's just really sort of like being clued on to life. And I think financial management was a big thing for me. You know, I've been in situations where, you know, I've put myself in horrible, horrible situations with regards to debt and everything else.
Right. Right.
So understanding that early on has been a huge challenge in terms of how I grow as a person, because you get pulled back down, you're like, oh, I can't do this. Well, but then coming out of it has helped me to realize that actually, you know, with the right sort of mental attitude and positioning, it's actually okay. You know, it's actually okay. So those have been the things.
Okay. And also I wanted to ask, okay, I feel like it's all good and well having the mental, but I feel like a lot of people are not able to actually action what they do. So what do you think helped you to really pursue or act out what you had in your mind to do? Like,
so to give some context, when it comes to sort of like adults, especially past 25 years old, they find it very difficult to learn something new. Okay. So you could argue I could have been doing the same thing continuously until something happened.
Okay.
So I think it's adversity. Adversity in my life and sort of like trauma in my life, you want to call it that, sort of brought me back down to reality and said, actually, are you sure you want to go down this path?
Right.
So I needed to go through a state of where things weren't working for me.
Okay.
And during those moments, I had to just sit down and be like, what is it that I actually want to do? And I think that really happened to me in 2015. You know, I just finished my project management role. It was going to be extended. I found that I had a cyst in my shoulder.
Wow.
So they had to take up the cyst.
Okay.
I was unemployed for about 6 months. I was in huge debt. I had no income coming in.
Wow.
So I thought to myself, why is this all happening now, sort of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And every time I tried to sort of overcome it, forcefully and fast and all that kind of stuff, I just got shut straight back down.
Okay.
So I sort of interpreted it as God was telling me, actually, you need to calm down and you need to relax and you need to look at life and think about what it is you actually want and what it is you're actually going to do. So I think at that point, I realized, actually, no, I'm never, ever going to put myself in this situation again. And I think that's what sparked it for me.
Wow, amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm even shocked. I'm lost for words. I'm absolutely lost for words. You've honestly, like, you've actually blown my mind. You've actually blown my mind with what you've been through. I obviously haven't gone into so much detail, but I can tell that it hasn't been easy.
No.
But you've managed to really, like, come out of it with your book and everything that you're doing to help other people, which is absolutely amazing. But on a lighter note, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
Be as honest as you can.
Okay.
Whatever you say will be given out to everybody that is listening, so nothing is private or confidential. So, therefore, what did you do this morning?
What did I do this morning?
Yeah.
I ate oats.
That's it?
Water and oats.
Okay. And who's the last person you spoke to?
My sister.
And who's your role model?
Les Brown.
When's the last time you cried?
3 months ago.
Oh, okay. What's your pet peeve?
People who are not on time. Not judging. Whoa.
Okay, moving on swiftly. One thing you couldn't live without.
The internet,
Why?
because there's so much opportunity on there.
Okay. If you could visit any country, where would it be and why?
Ghana, it's my homeland.
That's the reason.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
Straight.
no problem. Any other place but Ghana?
Cuba,
Okay, why Cuba?
because it looks nice.
Okay, I can run with that. What would you prefer, fish or chicken?
Hey, fish.
Fish.
Mhm.
Okay. Action or romantic comedy?
Action.
Your favorite film of all time?
Men in Black.
Oh.
Actually,
What,
Lion
'cause
King.
Will's missing
No,
it?
Lion King. I love
Oh,
Lion
okay,
King.
okay,
Lion King.
okay.
Lion King is my
Okay, no problem. Who inspires you and why?
my mother, because she continues to just overcome barriers.
Okay. And where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
Millionaire.
If you could give 3 people an award, who would it be and why?
My sister, Stephanie, and my mother.
And why?
Because they are my rocks. They help me when I'm low and high, and they just root me on. That's what they do.
Nice. Shout out to your sister, your mom, and Stephanie.
Of course.
Okay. What are you currently reading? What book are you currently reading at the moment?
So I'm currently reading Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman.
Okay, and what is it about?
It's basically about what emotional intelligence is and
Okay.
how you can sort of improve your communication with different people.
Okay, nice. And what's the craziest thing you've ever done?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Well, the other day, it's not crazy, but it's a bit
Okay.
weird. I had Jaffa cakes and vanilla yogurt.
Wow.
Just because it was there.
Okay, right. And how exactly did you have that? Did you have that together or?
So I basically got this pot
Right,
and I dipped the Jaffa cakes in and I ate it.
right.
Finished the whole tube. That's I love Jaffa cakes, by the way.
Oh, okay.
She's looking at me like I'm mad, you know.
Okay. Right. Interesting. I mean, everyone's different. That's what makes us
Do you know what I mean? Human.
great people. Yeah. What makes us great people. If you could change one thing about your life, what would it be and why?
If I could change one thing.
Yeah.
I actually wouldn't change anything because I wouldn't be able to learn what I've learned.
Nice. Okay. And what do you enjoy doing in your spare time?
In my spare time, I like chilling with friends, catching up with them, and just banter. Do you know what I mean? I love banter.
Nice. What's the one thing you say to yourself all the time and why?
You can do it because... No, I tell myself you can do it, and I tell myself that because if I don't tell myself that, no one else is going to tell me that.
Nice.
Simple.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Okay, listeners, honestly, if you haven't been inspired, I definitely have been inspired from Michael. I hope that you are listening and taking notes as to things that he's done in his life that maybe you might be struggling with, or maybe something you've been thinking about that you've been thinking, oh, do I take the step, do I not take the step? Be inspired. Don't tune or turn your dial anywhere. You are listening to Starr Radio UK. We're going to go for a short break and we'll be back shortly with Michael to find out more about his business, his book, and also his website. We'll be back shortly.
Are you looking for a job as a general
Go for
nurse,
music.
theatre nurse,
Cool.
ODPS,
Go for music.
community nurse, healthcare assistant, mental health nurses, midwife?
The mouse keeps freezing.
The
Is that?
missionary
The mouse keeps freezing.
No, it's not. You're gonna touch it to wake it up.
agencies have vacancies.
Touch it. It goes to sleep. That is a battery DC. It's energy efficient mouse.
Yeah, I can see.
Oh, you're coming to the line.
All of them are going to sleep. No, it's working. I saw it.
I know, it was now. I was about to wake it up.
You wake it up. Yeah. If you want.
Okay, got ya.
The number again? 073.
Are you ready with your music?
I am indeed.
Okay, flow.
32 or email info@brightstarplus.com. Brightstar Plus, the best in recruitment agents.
I didn't know this song until you saw it. I was like, oh,
Really?
interesting.
I'm not gonna lie, I bumped into it on SoundCloud. So I was like, oh, I like this. Sometimes I just randomly play music.
Nice. Who's your favourite artist?
Oh. When you ask me these questions, I don't know what to say.
You have to have an answer.
There's so much I like.
So you're open?
I'm very
okay,
open.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. When was the last time you went to Ghana?
Oh my gosh. 2010? Ages ago.
Wow.
Long time.
Do you want to visit there? Go and do a bit of this, take that there? Do you want to do a bit of that?
Definitely. I'll probably go next year.
Okay.
Probably in a big group actually.
Okay.
But yeah, even my cousin, she's talking about sort of different opportunities. She's going to be sort of delving into stuff. She's trying to get me on board as well. But I'm not going to rush. I'm going to see what's out there. But this is a perfect time to do it. You know, especially because the government's investing in businesses right now. Do you know what I mean?
100%. We'll go through. You've got his website up.
The website is diverted to Amazon.
Is it?
Did you click on the header? Maybe you clicked on the header.
Yeah, because I went on it today.
That's the website.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the website.
Yeah, but it's Amazon there, isn't it?
No. Amazon's here. That's not Amazon. It's just giving you the link to the book.
That's my advert.
Okay. Yes, this is the website. So you don't actually go and speak to people. So why do you call yourself a public speaker?
No, I do.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I confused you. So, in terms of getting opportunities, so people approach me, but I don't approach them.
Okay.
But I do public speaking, yeah.
Oh, right. You confused me.
I'm so sorry, yeah.
Right, I got you. So
Yeah.
you do events and things like that?
Yep.
Okay.
The website is up, yeah?
Yes.
So when you come by here, so we just saw your website a few minutes ago, then you can go into it before you go.
Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah, speaking's fun.
Have you been on radio? Yeah, we've got his website up now.
That's it.
Nice. Have you been to other radio stations?
First one.
Yay!
First
I
one.
keep doing this.
It's
I'm
good.
telling you.
It's good.
Everyone that comes here, who came here the last time and said that was the first
Your
time?
music is about finishing.
Oh, someone else said that to me as well. At least two people have said it to me.
Okay.
I was like, oh, happy day.
You're capturing at the right time.
It's giving me the vision and I'm just going for it.
Of course.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Yeah, down. Start the music.
The Precise Automotive provides affordable,
I think I messaged
high-quality
you.
after-sales service.
This is the second time I messaged you. It's the first time. Complete airtime.
Oh, did you message me?
Yeah. Airtime.
Oh, snap.
It's okay.
Servicing.
God works in mysterious ways. And God is on your side. The enemy kept bringing you down. No, I'm playing.
Oh no, well, that's good of you to actually ask again.
Yep, and I did it again. I said, and then
Did
when you cried, I was like,
Did I even open
Don't
it?
forget, Instagram is still streaming like, you know.
oh, is it still straight? Oh my gosh.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm not used to. Yeah, let me just be quiet.
It's okay.
Hello listeners, my name is Ewuraa Lucy. I invite you to join me on the Starr Personality Profile Show this and every Tuesday at 6 p.m. on Starr Radio UK, where I will be talking to experts in their different fields to find out why they do what they do and what makes them exceptional in their various careers. This show is Starr Personality Profile on Starr Radio UK. Remember, the time is 6 p.m. every Tuesday. Download the app from your app store or join me live on all our social media platforms.
Good evening, listeners, and thank you for tuning in once again with myself. I am here with Michael, as I'm sure you've all been inspired as well as I have with his story, his journey, his book, and also what he has ahead. We're currently looking at his website, and tell us a bit more about your website, how you built it, why the layout, everything. Tell us a bit more.
Okay, so I actually built this website not from complete scratch, but I assembled it myself together.
Okay.
I did this probably, I said it was 2014, so it didn't look like this before.
Okay.
It looked like something else.
Okay.
But the reason I did this is because I wanted a clean look.
Okay.
And I was really sort of like trying to play around with my branding and understanding what that looks like. So it's hosted on WordPress.
Nice.
So yeah, and I guess that this gives me the experience and understanding of how to sort of put a WordPress site together and all that kind of jazz there. So.
Okay, nice. So in terms of your website and the traffic that it brings, does it bring a lot of people to your website?
I would say anywhere between 400 to about 800 people a month.
Nice.
It does vary.
Okay.
I think it's gone up more because of the activity I've had lately.
Okay.
Because I'm building an email list as well,
nice,
which is helping.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, so apart from your website, where else are you active on your social medias? Yeah.
So active on Instagram, as these guys can see.
Nice.
Active on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm kind of active on Twitter.
Okay.
Here and there.
Okay.
I used to be active on Pinterest as well.
Okay. Oh, nice.
But kind of stopped that now.
Okay.
But I do have sort of like automated things that go to different streams as well.
Okay. And where can people find you on these platforms? What they search in to find you?
So they just need to type in either Michael Tabirade, so Michael Tabirade. I'm going to do the, I don't even know what it's called, but you know the Tango, Alpha, Bravo, Igloo, Romeo, Alpha, Delta, Echo?
Yeah.
Or they can type in Mike_Tabirade, and they should find me on any of those.
Okay, nice. And where do you see this going in the next 5 years? What do you have planned?
So my biggest thing is, well, split into two.
Okay.
First, I'd definitely like to have some sort of marketing agency.
Okay.
Or branding and marketing agency.
Nice.
I think that is missing in a lot of sort of startups and passion projects. We're very good at sort of like building the thing, making the services look good.
Right.
But in terms of marketing, I think that's sort of like lacking.
Okay.
The second thing is almost like an institution for, I would say, leadership, career, and entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So I'm slowly sort of building that now, sort of developing the frameworks. But those are the two main things I want in place.
Okay, nice. Any plans for 2018 in terms of events? Where can people follow you or stay tuned for anything you have coming up?
So again, got my book coming out. Hopefully should be doing an event with an amazing guy called Noir Excel and a great friend Chima as well.
Okay. Basically
teaching entrepreneurs how to do entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Also involved with some great people, part of the group called Mentality. So this is specifically for men who basically want to talk about the issues that men don't want to talk about.
Nice.
I've also got other projects here and there. I may even start my own project, Mastery, which is, it basically questions how good do you want to be.
Okay.
And effectively that's for people within the corporate world and entrepreneurship as well. So those are the main things for 2018.
That's a lot. That's why your family say that you need to just relax.
They won't be saying that when the money rolls in, you know what I mean?
You need to relax. But it's been great having you on the show. Do you have any shout outs before we leave?
I want to shout out Tessa, Stephanie, Chima, Jennifer, Farida, Tashana.
Oh wow.
Who else is there? There's someone I'm forgetting. Lucy, I know you're on there too.
Okay.
And a whole host of people. If I've forgotten you, I'm sorry, but you know I love you. So, and Dami as well. Don't forget Dami and Michael.
Wow.
And others. Yeah.
And anybody else?
I'm just gonna leave it at that for now.
Okay, fantastic. It has been great having you in the studio, Michael Tabirade. It has been amazing. Thank you so much for coming in, giving a bit of insight as to what you're doing and what you have ahead for your company and also your life as well. You've been an absolute inspiration to myself and also to those that are listening. I just want to say thank you to everyone that has listened and tuned in today. It's been amazing. If you've learned, I hope that you've learned something from Michael. Please go and follow him on his social media and also support and buy his book. Buy this one and buy the one that's coming out in January as well. And we can buy the book on where?
Amazon.
Okay.
Amazon.
And it's retailing for what price?
$8.99.
$8.99. That's it.
$8.99.
$8.99, guys. Support the cause. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much once again. That's all for me today. Big up to everybody, to those that have been listening and continue to listen to me. I'm so thankful. I just want to say good evening and have a fantastic week. See you next week.
10, 9, 8,
have music?
7.
Yep, I will do.
6.
It's not playing yet, is it?
This is Starr Radio UK.
Is it playing?
It's about to.
Okay, go.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Haven't heard this song either.
Who is that?
Fuse ODG.
Wow, let me stop my video.
Before they block it.
Well done.
Thank you so
stop
much.
my video,
Thank you. Oh, thank you guys.
You want my Facebook account
Thank
to
you
be
guys
blocked,
for
yeah?
checking it out.
It
Really
won't,
do
it
appreciate
won't,
it.
it
They'll
We're gonna
block
end it
my
now.
Facebook
Speak to you guys
account.
later.
chill.
God
Do you
bless.
know the number of
Peace.
times they've given me?
Relax.
Do you know the number of times they've